What's up, fellow nerds? I've got a Q&A for you because I'm bored right now and I decided I'd do something that's fairly simple. Question number 1, how do you feel about Mage Priest? By the way, I'm going to try to go through these much faster because I'm giving me a lot more questions and I want to be able to answer more of them, even if that means cutting them down and answering them in a more half-assed or comical fashion. How do I feel about Mage Priest? I think it's a douchefuck comp. I think it's made of pure 100% concentrated annoying. And I think if you enjoy running it, then run it. Who cares? I ran double rogue druid. People hated it. Pissed a lot of nerds off. It was so much fun. So, I don't think it's super strong. I think it's just, you know, it's fun. It's capable of 2200, like just about any comp, I think, if the players are good enough. Alright, now, I don't have it saved on here. I don't think I answered this already, but I have been getting an email from the same person 1 or 2, maybe 3 times, because he knows I haven't answered it yet, and I apologize for that, and I appreciate your persistence. Feel free, guys, if you aren't getting your question answered and you want to keep resubmitting it. I mean, obviously don't spam me with the same question, but in this case, it's fine because it's a very simple question, and I should have answered it already. Somebody wants to know what I think about the current state of Resto Druids, and this is what I think. Being a Resto Druid in Arena is sort of like being a prison inmate. There's almost no chance you're not going to get raped when the gates open. Resto Druids just suck. They're shitty. What can you do about it, you know what I mean? Blizzard hasn't fixed them all last season and season so far. They're working on their next-gen MMO, they're working on Diablo 3, yada yada. I feel like it's at the point where they just stopped caring about WoW's PvP portion, and even about the PvE portion. They're kind of like prepared for their up-and-coming new games, whatever. So anyway, I'm sorry if you play a Resto Druid, you're gonna have a hard time. That's how it is. Either go feral or stick it out if you don't really care about super high ratings. It's still possible to get really high rated as a Resto Druid. You just have to be really good, and you have to have really good teammates, and you have to be playing a really good comp. Like, MLD is not bad because you have a lot of CC to help you, you know, survive when you're dying because your heals are so shitty. So, that's what I think about Resto Druids. Next question. Hey Tosan, I have a Resto Druid that I've been on and off on. That's a mind fuck. On and off on. Anyway, what do you think of the state of them? I feel... I'm just gonna try to clean this grammar up a little bit. I feel like once my tree form is gone, then I just die even when I have teammates healing for me. I was wondering if you have any tips to help relieve pressure and or help survive a switch to me. Okay, if you want to survive a switch, reroll to any other healer. I know that's not the answer you're looking for, but Resto Druids kinda suck. I mean, don't get me wrong, you can still survive as a Resto Druid and play some comps to very high rating. You can play MLD. I've seen a double Hunter Druid comp really high on BG9. They were like 2850 or something before the MMR nerf anyway. I don't know how they're doing now. Yeah, I mean, you're really fragile without Bark, Skin, or Tree Form, but you're almost invincible with both of those. But you completely rely on CC and peels and avoiding damage. You can't just tank damage and heal through it. You have to cheetah form. Like, a lot of the times you throw up your hots, but then you have to trust that you have to get away. Like, getting away and avoiding the damage is more important than healing through the damage. So, peels and avoiding the damage and kiting at all costs is what you have to do. LOS, kite, whatever you gotta do to just not be touched. How do you feel about the fact that Blizzard disregards PvP since a while back? Maybe you don't feel that way, but a lot of us do. Oh, it's totally true. Blizzard does disregard PvP. I kind of lost a lot of respect for Blizzard, especially after seeing some bald, fat fuck talk about Diablo, or something, I think it was a Diablo 3 conversation at hand. He said, and I quote loosely, something like, we come up with a new ability that's really cool, and then the PvP guy says, hey, that's gonna affect balance in PvP, and I say, shut up, PvP guy, I don't care. Yeah, that's basically a good representation of how Blizzard thinks towards PvP, and it's because, from a business standpoint, I understand, but from a good gaming company standpoint, I think that's a fuck up, and they're douches for it. The majority of human beings are stupid, and a lot of people don't like PvP because nobody likes losing. That's why, in any console game ever made, you always have save points and continues, and if you lose, you can infinitely continue, stuff like that. There's no loss ever in games, basically, and it's because people fear loss, and the majority of people are going to lose, and then they're going to be sad that they lost, and then Blizzard's afraid they'll lose money because they forced morons to compete with each other. And people just hate losing. I actually highly respect the people that are even bad at the game, that are like stuck at 1600 rating or whatever, that continue and continue and continue and strive to be better and better and better, and just don't get discouraged with the fact that they lose. Like, they play for fun and they enjoy the competition, win or lose. You know what I mean? The people that have like 700 games played on a 1600 team and they have like a 48% win ratio, fucking high five, nerds, because you know, that means you're not a pussy. Because, you know, people puss out when they lose. People just, you know, cry when they lose. That's how it is. So they cater to the PvEers because, see, a PvE mob is programmed to lose to you. The mobs are programmed to lose. Basically, it's like a placebo. It's like a fake challenge. You know what I mean? It's like saying, "Hey, nerd, would you like to fight this big dragon? I swear he's really hard to beat. If you beat him, you're awesome." Oh yeah, look, I beat him. I must be awesome. Yeah, that's how PvEers think, and they love it. They eat that shit up. So Blizzard is catering to the majority player base, which is the pathetic pansy nerd who hates competition. God forbid you ever fight somebody that thinks and adapts to your strategies. And I don't care what anybody says. People will sit there and tell me, PvP is the same thing over and over too. No, it's not. When you fight people that adapt, it becomes very challenging and extremely fun. You fight people in PvP that constantly change their strategy, and that is a challenge. And people hate challenges because people hate failing. A challenge presents the opportunity to fail, and the opportunity to fail is an opportunity to ball up and cry like a bitch. So, yes, Blizzard does disregard PvP. I hope they don't continue with that. At least they give a shit about competitive Starcraft, right? But, you know, the lamest part about the whole thing is they could have their cake and eat it too, or have us have our cake and eat it too. I don't know which is more proper in that regard. But, they could easily balance PvP separately from PvE. It's just a little bit more work. And obviously they don't make enough billions to justify doing that a little bit of extra work. And I know, I don't want to sound ignorant and be like, well, it's a lot of work to do programming and coding. And it's like, yes, it's a lot of work, and they certainly have the resources to do it, and it would make a lot of people happy. But since the people that it would make happy are the smaller player base, they don't give a shit. So from a business standpoint, what they're doing makes sense, but it's also douchey and selfish and lazy. Okay, Tosan, I'm playing a Shadow Priest right now, and I'm just getting trained by melee every game. And it's pronounced melee, not melee, not melee. Melee, motherfuckers. I only play 2s right now, and with a Frost Mage who... Oh, I only play 2s right now with a Frost Mage who can peel well, but with Feral and Sub-Rogues, even that's not enough to stop me from getting stomped when Dance is back up, etc. Honestly, if you're playing like a double DPS versus double DPS, plus some other comp issues, but basically what's your tips on the Mage peeling and how to survive strats? Well, it's all about monitoring their cooldowns. Don't sit there and have your Mage go, hey, I'll peel you, Frost Nova! Oh my god, he vanished! I didn't see that coming! You should expect shit like that. He's got Cloak and 2 Vanishes to blow, and he's got Smoke Bomb. I honestly highly suggest the first thing he does, in addition to just Novaing and Cone of Colding them on cooldown, is to drop a Ring of Frost in your general vicinity, and let you try to run through it and lure them through it. Because then if they trinket, guess what? You can fear them! Let's say you're fighting Feral Rogue, you know, double DPS team, and the Feral runs through your ring, and then he trinkets. Let's say the rogue just cloaks and walks through it. Well, at least you can fear the Feral Druid off of you, and you can wait for the cloak to end and fear both. Then guess what? The Feral's feared full, and then the rogue is going to trinket immediately. Then you can Psychic Horror him. Then guess what? Then the mage can sheep the rogue, and then start shitting on the Feral Druid, who's going to be rooted and snared and dying for the rest of the fight. And then you can swap to the rogue, yada yada. You just have to monitor their cooldowns, their trinkets, their cloaks, vanishes, shit like that. And that's all you can really do about it, you know? I mean, you're still going to get zerked down and killed sometimes, because rogues and ferals are really hard for you to deal with as a Shadow Priest. But that's just the way the cookie crumbles when you eat it too fast and make a mess. So get a broom and a dustpan and clean up the cookie. I don't know where I'm going with this. It's a metaphor. It makes sense in here. Alright guys, that's it for this random Q&A. Thanks for submitting your questions. Keep sending them in. Send them to tosantribe@gmail.com, labeled question, and try to use the format like Tosan asks, and then ask your question. Alright, thanks for watching, and peace out.